this next thing, I in a way regret buying because it was absolutely not necessary. Everything on this that I've told you so far was 100% necessary. This wasn't. And that was that I bought 100. Hello and welcome to a new video. In this video, we're going to talk about how much money I spent to open up my Etsy shop, what I spent it on, and how you can save money and not spend thousands and thousands of pounds to start chasing your dreams. So this is not like the most comfortable video for me to film because we're talking about money that I've spent. I've been procrastinating making this video because I don't really want to look at the figures, but I'm doing it for you guys because I'm not gonna lie, when I was watching loads of videos before I'd opened my Etsy shop, I would see people spending thousands and thousands of pounds on equipment. We're talking about printers, we're talking about lighting, we're talking about cutting machines. And I'm just your average girly. I don't have that kind of money. And also, when you are going into a business when you don't even really know if this is something you can do long time, there is that fear that you're going to start it may not do well. And I really want this channel to be something that I want to give encouragement about the small business life, but I also want to give you the realistic figures, but also realistic advice. You don't have to go into debt chasing your dreams, and this is how I did it on the more affordable side before taking the leap to go into more costly investments. And I suggest, which is the way I'm going about it, is to slowly build up rather than starting your business spending all of this money. So I'm going to go one by one into things that I paid for. They're not going to be in order, but let's just get into it. Right, so the first thing I bought for my business, which was the most expensive thing, was my iPad. I bought an iPad Pro, 248 gigabytes. I think that's storage. I'm not a tech person, but that thing. Anyways, because obviously I had to draw on something. I've never had an iPad before. I couldn't just borrow it from my parents or borrow it from a sibling. I had to buy mine myself. So that cost £537. I bought this in Hong Kong, so it was slightly cheaper because I didn't have to pay tax. But give or take, it was that much, including the screen protector. Next thing was sticker paper. Now, I'll mention sticker paper several times because I had to top up. The first time I bought sticker paper, mind you, I bought 3 different brands. I'm not going to go into which brands I specifically bought, because not gonna lie, I feel like you should experiment to find what is tailor suited to you, and I don't have one that I'm dead set on at this point in time, so maybe I will tell you in the future, but not in this video. So the first time I bought sticker paper, it was £12.99, and I did this. The next time I bought 2 more packs, which is £29.98, and then I bought another pack of sticker paper for £9.99. Then I did another set for £6.99. Right, another thing that I bought was digital scales to measure my packages before sending them off, and that cost me £9.99. The next thing is cellophane bags. I live in the UK. I'm very conscious that it rains a lot in this country, and so it was really important for me that they were going to be water protected. The packaging was going to be waterproof, because in the end of the day, I know it may not be the most environmentally friendly, but if the stickers get damaged, we're creating more waste. So that was my mindset about it. So I got 5 cellophane bags, and that cost me £7.59, and I believe there was 100 of them. I later then realized that I needed smaller ones for my mystery bags. And so I bought A6 ones for £3.99, and again, I believe it was 100 in quantity. Right, the next thing was the A5 Do Not Bend envelopes, and that cost me £7 and 1 pence, and I believe I got 200 of those. Right, next thing was that I got A4 card, 250 GSM. Now this was useful for my thank you cards that they are A6 thank you cards that I printed out, and I put in every single package, and I get to write each customer's name on it. I think it's a very nice personal touch, but I wanted it on thicker paper, and one that printed well, because the first time I did it, it didn't go so well, but we move on. Right, so that cost me £8.47, and I really should get the figures of this, but I believe it was like 100 pages. Right, moving on. The next thing I bought was blue tissue paper. So I panic bought this at like 2 o'clock in the morning for my mystery packs, because I forgot that I need to make them mystery. I need to cover them up. I only had my clear cellophane bags. So again, I got like 60 sheets of this, and it cost me £5.99. Then I got circle logo stickers. You know, I'm trying to look profesh. You know, I've just started out. I want to start on a good note. You know, even though we're doing things in a more affordable way, you want to still do things with excellence. And so I tried to get logo stickers for that. It was a whole nightmare deciding what was going to be for my logo. But this cost me £5.62, and I got 5 sheets. So I also bought self-adhesive laminate. I didn't buy this in the beginning of my small business because I actually had some left over from a different project. But I bought some that I only then ended up using after I opened my shop. But that cost me £9.26. £9.26. Sorry, I filmed this entire video and I realized that I didn't tell you anything about what I do as my small business. Hello, I'm Grace. I am the owner of Grace Gold Art. That is the name of my shop on Etsy. If you type that in, no spaces. And this is what I sell. I sell cute, weird, wonderful stickers. And you can check it out. The link is in my description. Okay, sorry. Back to the video. This next thing, I, in a way, regret buying because it was absolutely not necessary. Everything on this that I've told you so far was 100% necessary. This wasn't. And that was that I bought 100 banana octopus stickers from Sticker App. Now, I had nothing against Sticker App. The price is reasonable. However, not something I want to invest in at this stage of my business. So I bought 100 of those for £54, and that was including shipping. And that was initially, before I started my business, I had the idea that I was going to manufacture all of my stickers. Little did I know at that point. And when I bought them, and I had to pay the £54 for it to really sink into my head that £54 for so many designs that I was planning to have, i.e. I ended up having 15 designs when I first opened my shop. So we don't have to do the maths, but 54 times 15 is a lot of money. And I realized that I couldn't afford, I can afford that, but I didn't want to invest in that amount of money so early into my business. And so that was the thing that switched me to think, okay, I have to make my stickers myself. Thankfully, I did that a lot, like way before I decided to open my shop on March 1st. Right, so the other thing that I bought was my vinyl squeegees, which I absolutely love, and they're pink and turquoise, which is chef's kiss. I love those colors, and they're basically very close to my brand colors. And so I got 2 of those. Granted, they're not that big. I'll show you a picture. They're £4.99 for 2, and 100% worth it. I didn't think it would be worth it. I thought it was like a thing that looks cute, but actually no, it 100% was necessary. At the time I was using my little notebook, this thing, to squeegee. Not a good idea. Stop being silly. Get the squeegees. Get the cute, colorful squeegees. Right. The last thing I bought to open up my shop was the Etsy shop opening fee. I didn't know that I would have to pay this opening fee, but here we go. It was £11. Right. I know there is like a listing fee on Etsy, but I'm not adding it to this expenses, because the listing fee technically didn't come out of my pocket. I didn't need to get my credit card or my debit card to pay for the listing fees. It came out of the expenses when someone bought something. Etsy was taking the money from that to pay for the listings. So I'm not including that in this. So the total one more thing was that printing. So total amount I paid for printing, granted, I printed out 15 sticker designs, and I had at least 2 A4 sheets per sticker design, and I pay printing at a fixed price per A4. So in total, I ended up paying £26.65 for all of my printing. So all of that added up, I'm gonna let Editing Grace work a bit harder. This is how much I ended up paying to open up my shop. Now this is under £1,000, and granted, like, my maths ain't too good, but around 70% of my total fees was on one product. Now, I only started learning digital drawing 6 months ago, and I did it specifically for my small business. Most of you guys, either wouldn't need an iPad because you have already been ahead of the game and you've been drawing for a long time digitally, or if you are a traditional artist, you might actually choose to scan your physical drawings or paintings to then sell, although you probably would still need some sort of digital device to then edit, but you don't necessarily need an iPad. In my case, I needed the iPad, and it's so cute. I use it every single day that I have off. So that was an essential thing for me. So if you think about that, one product was 70% of my totals, and everything, packaging, the materials that I need to make my stickers, the kind of little equipment, squeegees, that didn't really cost me a lot. I'll give you the amount here, subtracting my iPad and including printing, everything else that was essential for actually opening my shop that you probably may need. It's not actually a lot of money. It really isn't. And the thing is that I will now tell you the things that I did that I see a lot of businesses, and there's no hate, by the way, it's just when you're starting off, when you see other people buying loads of equipment, it's very intimidating, especially when you don't earn a lot of money. Now, I'm very grateful that I have a good wage, but my small business is one part of my life, and I don't want to spend thousands of pounds, especially when, I'm not gonna lie, I'm quite fickle. Wasn't really sure if I was going to start this small business and it was going to continue, but we are more than 6 months in from the very day that I decided to open this small business, so I'm guessing we're going the long run. So I will invest in bigger amounts later down the line. Okay, stop waffling. Okay, let's get into what I did that other businesses might not be doing, and what is perhaps the more affordable way for you to start your small business. Now, one glaring thing is printing. So a printer roughly costs, I've seen some people have the Epson EcoTank, 600 plus pounds. The Canon Pixma one is close to 200 pounds. So buying a printer is really, really expensive. It is at least 150 pounds. And I was like, yeesh, I didn't want to buy that. I didn't want to invest so much money in the beginning of my business. So I ended up spending £26.65, which and I'm able to fit around 7 to 12 stickers per A4 sticker sheet, which is a lot cheaper upfront cost than buying a printer, where you have to buy inks, you have to do the printer, and then there's maintenance, there's a lot of technical difficulties. So I decided to go to the other route, where I went to a printing shop or a printing facility to just pay per sheet. And sure, there's going to be still some hiccups in terms of, sending it to the printer slightly wrong and it's slightly cut off, or the colors are a bit different, and there's still going to be some trial and error. But I feel like there's a lot less trial and error by sending it to a printer and getting someone else to then print it off for me. I went to a physical place and then sent it to the printer to be printed. And then it was just so much of an easier process than if thinking about, I'm running out of ink, I have to buy the inks. Ink's expensive. It's like, I don't know, it's about like £50 a month topping up if you're doing it on a regular basis. Granted, it depends how much you're using a printer, but it's not cheap. And then you've got the technical difficulties. At least when I know that I go to the printing shop, the technical difficulties I don't need to figure out. That's someone else's job. So it's a lot more hassle-free and it's a lot cheaper, and you can print so many designs this way without investing hundreds. Okay, so what was something else that I did? I decided in my small business that I was going to start off with stickers. Now, the reason why I started out with stickers is that it's quite cheap to make yourself. All you need, the printing facility I've explained, is sticker paper and self-adhesive laminate. Both of these, you can go onto Amazon and you can find affordable prices for these things. Of course, you can always scale up to more expensive, but when you're starting out, you can get the more affordable options, depending on your budget. Of course, the reason why I have priced my stickers the way I have, although the materials might not be extremely expensive, the labor. Now, of course, I understand like a lot of businesses invest in this money because it saves them a lot of time. However, when you're starting out a business, I'm more willing to put in my time and effort to save that amount of money. And yes, it takes a lot of work. I spend hours and hours laminating my stickers, cutting my stickers. I have to go elsewhere, out of my house, to get them printed. And, there's hiccups. So I then have to come back home, make changes, and then go back out. It's more hassle. It is. But it's something that you have to think about, what is more worth your time in the beginning of your business. I feel like for me, in the beginning of my business, this is the time for experimentation. This is the time where I'm not going to get a lot of sales. And so I have that time to experiment, to see what is more cost effective for me. And so this is my advice. Like, if you think about, like, I was initially going to spend £54 for 100 stickers for one design. I had to go for 100 because when it was 50, I think it ended up being like £1 something per sticker, which, sure, it saves me a lot of time, but £1 something, it means that I have to charge more per sticker for you guys, which I didn't really want to do, because sure, you're seeing like £1 something. Okay, let's say for example it was £1.50. I sell it for, some people might be thinking, oh, you can just sell it for like £2. You're not counting in like the packaging. The packaging itself, again, takes me time, but also it adds up. I have the logo sticker, I have the cellophane bags, I have washi tape, I have tissue paper. Oh, by the way, the washi tape that you see in my packaging, I had bought that previously, so I didn't buy that specifically for my small business. Although is an essential cute part. Probably not essential. I could use clear boring tape, but we like to make things cute on this channel. So yes, cute washi tape is essential, but I didn't buy it for this shop launch or shop opening. But I once I run out, I definitely will be buying more. But yes, I feel like, okay, so let me sum it up in like 3 main tips of how to save money. First thing, start off with stickers. Easy, cheap to make. Storage doesn't take that much storage, and also you save money on shipping because you're not going to have to buy those kind of letterbox packagings or huge like if you're going to be selling tumblers and washi tapes and binder clips and whatever, mugs. You need big boxes, and big boxes, more shipping, more expensive shipping. So start off with something that is easy for you to make, easy for you to store, easy for you to ship. And for me, I chose stickers. So second tip, maybe don't buy yourself a printer, and maybe don't buy yourself a cutting machine when you're first starting out. Do the manual labor. Up to you, of course. So I ended up going to printing shop. I don't need to repeat myself. So another third thing was that I see loads of people buy these laser heatless inkless things to print out your shipping labels. And by the way, these printers are expensive. They're so expensive. The little machine, it's like £200 or something. I'll put the exact, actually I won't because there's so many different brands, but it's around £200 or at least £100. I want to also have the ease of not having to print out my own shipping labels. But there's a very easy way that I found on Etsy, and that is you can just download the QR code from Etsy and you can get the post office to print out the shipping label for you. The only thing that I will say for this is that make a note, you're not going to get loads and loads of sales when you first start off your Etsy shop. I'll say it flat out for you right now. I know you've seen loads of videos where they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of orders. The average girly like me, the average Joe, whoever is starting their small business, most of us do not get hundreds and hundreds of sales. I got 9 sales in my first month, and that's really good. Okay? That's really good. Most of those were from people that I know. So, you're not gonna start it with lots. So what I did was that I wrote down the names of the people that had ordered, and I wrote down the last 3 digits of their order number on Etsy, so that I knew that when I took a screenshot of the QR code to then take to the post office and handed them my parcels, I knew which was the correct QR code for the shipping label for the parcel, so you didn't get muddled up. But you can easily get them printed off at the post office. Don't get me wrong, when I'm at a certain stage, I'm gonna get all those cute machines to print off my shipping labels, but at this present time, it's not necessary. I just have a moody post office person to be like, QR code, and they're like, beep, print out for me. Just as easy, not that much hassle, and it's less cute, but it's cheap. You save hundreds of pounds. So sorry for so much waffling, but I hope this video was useful. If you don't mind the sound of my voice and seeing my face, and you're interested in small business, then don't forget to subscribe. I will probably make more videos. I make videos like this in terms of talking about money, talking about small business tips, and if there's anything in particular that you want me to talk about, don't hesitate to put it in the comments. Sorry so much for waffling. I also realized that I didn't mention anything about what I do in my small business. I'll have to edit this in the beginning. Anyways, if you're interested in how much money I earned in my first month on Etsy, then you can click onto this video. There we go. Now we're going to cut to my pretty end screen, and it's going to show you a playlist and a recommended video. But I'll see you in the next one. Bye.